Oh,
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Taco Tuesdays.
hope everybody's doing good.
It is. I love Taco Tuesdays. This is the day when we, Nick and I, get in here and we talk about fitness and food.
Some other stuff.
Some other stuff. Well, I'm Brandon. If you're new to the group and you don't know me yet, I'm Brandon Glass. I'm a personal trainer and coach, fitness nutrition specialist, a physical therapist assistant, which is kind of how I got into this this business of fitness. And I'll let Nick introduce himself.
I love bringing you on first thing in the morning because I can tell you're always just like a little bit not there yet.
Thanks for bringing it up. I know,
Hey,
Nick's like,
keep you on your toes.
Let's do this at 10. I'm like, that's 7 my time.
Different time zones. That's all right. But yeah, I'm Nick. I'm a nutritionist, personal trainer, restorative movement specialist. I also have a huge passion for psychology and mental health. And behind that is developing positive mental state, being positive, which is perfect because that's what we're diving into today. It's diving into how do you think? How do you think the world works around you? How do you work in your own world?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what today is about. Today is about alignment. That's our topic for today. So we posted about this on Friday. Saturday. Posted a question on Saturday about your identity, right? And that's really kind of what alignment is about. So Nick and I are not in the fitness business. I don't see myself as necessarily being in the fitness business. We're not in the like workout and meal plan business. We do those things. We do those things. Yeah, those are parts. But we're in the alignment business, right? At the root of everything that we do, we believe that everyone deserves to have a body that represents who they are as a person, right? And who we want to be as a person.
Definitely.
That's what alignment is to us, or at least it is to me. I mean, I've had this conversation with Nick, but that's what alignment is to us. And
yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, and most of the time, if we dig deep enough with someone and get past, the surface issues, like usually like around how we look, what we find is that most of the time when we're unhappy, it's because we don't feel that our body is in alignment with our heart and our soul.
Yeah. That's definitely a big part of what we find. So I'm just going to put some analogies out there, I think, to line this all back up, right? So
this should be fun, guys.
Yeah, because I'm really good at analogies and metaphor.
Go for it. Now I'm dying to hear it.
So having like all your ducks in a row, right? That's like physical alignment. That's in cooking, we would call that mise en place. It's having all your ingredients laid out in front of you and ready to go.
Oh, that's a good one. That's good.
Thank you.
I like that.
You're welcome. And then but when it comes between you and I, between Brandon and I, if our thinking is on the same page, then you and I are in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And we are 90% of the time. We differ on some like very minor things.
Yes, minute stuff.
Usually like what something should look like. Who cares? But on an individual level, on in your own person, if what you want and what you are doing, if they line up, this is good. That's what we look for. That's what we're trying to develop always. But if what you want is completely different from what you're doing, that is not good. You are disaligned. And if you've ever had a car that's out of alignment, your tires out of alignment, what happens over time? They get burned out. They get flat on one end or one side of it. And so then you have to take your car into the shop and you have to get an alignment, right? So it's like that. You get burned out if you're not doing what lines up with what you actually want to do, with what as Brandon said, what your heart and soul wants. It won't happen. So
okay. I'm with you on the analogies.
Okay, good.
For the most part. But yeah, it is. It's, I mean, for me, it keeps kind of coming back to like, you know, being capable, you know, having my body do what I need it to do, you know, for the things that I love to do or the things that I need to do. And I think if you follow function and like true health and wellness for your body, that it will represent you, and it will show up for those things. It'll show up the way you want it to. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
But I want to know what everyone else thinks, right? Like, are you aligned? Are you aligned with what you want? Does your body represent who you are, how you see yourself as a person, or at least who you want to be or need to be in your life? You know, what's your focus in life? What is it that you do? What is it that you need to do? What is it that you want to do? What are the things that speak to you?
Yes.
Right.
And then are you committed to helping yourself make that happen?
Yes, totally.
And then, and if you're not, how can we get you to that point?
Yeah.
That's what this whole chat's about, I think, right?
Yeah. How can we help you get there? You know, I think this community is so supportive. You have all this support, and you have two experts that really, really do want to help you get to where you are represented by a body that is in alignment with what you need and how you want to feel. We saw some great responses to that question, by the way. You know, I saw a lot of like really positive things, and I saw some other things like, you know, when you're not in alignment, you know, when your body is not aligned with who you are and what you do, it starts to become kind of a cycle, right? Definitely. Then it's easy to start identifying a self that really isn't you, right? Like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. Like, that's who I am. I'm just a tired ass dad. Like, I've said that to myself before, for sure. Right.
Yeah. It's how you identify.
Yeah. And how do you break that cycle? And that's sort of a different conversation, I think. But
yeah. It's probably a big part of this, right? But
yeah, I'd love to get into it if we have time, though.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I think we probably will. But I know like a big part of what, like the big thing we're going for, I think it has to do with kind of what I touched on last week, about, you know, discovering yourself. At the end of our talk last week, I talked about taking some time to actually discover yourself. You know, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and ask yourself, you know, how do I feel when I behave this way? How do I feel when that happens? What happens when I do this differently? What can I do to change that? What can I do to reinforce it if it's a good thing? But it's highly important to dive into that if you want to make any life changes, any changes in your world. It's super important. Agreed. Good. You do.
Oh, it is. It is very, very important. You know, and the question is, right, like, who are you? Okay, this is, you know, the number one, like the first step in alignment. Who are you? What identifies you? Like, how do you identify yourself? A lot of the time you ask that question, people can't even answer it. They're like, well, I don't know.
I mentioned it in the description of this post. When somebody asks, like, what is it that you do? Unless you spend some time actually knowing what it is and who you are, like, you tend to ramble a little bit.
Hell yeah. Yeah, ask me that question. I'll give you a million answers. That question was really hard for me to answer the other day. Like that, like describe yourself in 3 words. That was hard for me. It was hard to be concise about that, you know, but when you dig deep on that, like, you know, even deeper, like who are you is an even bigger question, right? And it was hard for me to describe myself in just 3 words. Pick 3 words that describe me. So who are you? What's your identity?
I used the GIF, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was a very strange food or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Hey. It's a very strange food.
But it's about, like, what is this about, right? Right. It's about your motivations, your passions.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Are you a mother, a father? Are you a dancer? Are you a fighter? Right. I've trained some dancers and fighters, and it's very much like that is who they are at their
core of your identity. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that is what they need to be represented with their bodies. Right. Like if you're a dancer and you know, show up for an MMA fight, right? You need a body that does what you need it to do, and the other way around, right? Like you don't want to have a fighter's body if you're a dancer, right? So it needs to be, you know, what you do needs to be specific, or how you treat your body should be specific to what you need from it.
Body, mind, spirit, they should all be connected, all be doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was a powerful exercise, you know, and I would love to see, like, I'd love to see more of it. You know, what's right now, I know, like, I'm going to put people on the spot, but what's one word that describes you, right? If you're watching right now, what's one word that describes you, and make it a positive word, right? You know, break that negative cycle. Because the first thing I think of, like, what's one word that describes you? I'm like, right now, tired. And that just, like, yeah, that's just, it's one of those self-fulfilling things, right? So that comes back to our conversation about self-talk, right? But
I'm sorry, I'm trying to think about one word that describes me right now. That's tough. It's a tough one.
Contemplative.
No, that's you. That's also you.
All right. So yeah, a word that describes you. Bonus point for a noun. All right.
Ooh, Carrie just chimed in. She said hopeful. I like that.
Yes, I like that.
I'm gonna jump on that. I'm gonna jump on that with
Kevin said dedicated. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, he is, man. He has been crushing it lately, by the way.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You know, and he's still been allowing himself to live guilt-free, which is awesome. You know, I just talked about it yesterday. Man. I'm loving what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. So,
you know, I love that, man. That's living without guilt for sure. So I want to talk a little bit about why is alignment important? Why does it matter? Right? It's the direction, right? You can't hit a target you can't see. Right? It helps us have a direction and know what we need to do. It's a deeper connection. You know, superficial motives are they're not motivating. Right? We're doing this.
Give me an example of that. A superficial motive, because a lot of people I know will be like, well, what does that mean? So I want you to tell me what that means.
Well, they tend to be, I shouldn't say not motivating. They tend to be more like temporary. When our goals are simply just around how we look, right? Rather than who we are or how we feel.
Right.
One is frustrating.
Even more superficial than that. Like, let's say, like, when we ask somebody, you know, well, why do you want to lose weight? Well, because, you know, I want the number on the scale to go down. That is simply superficial.
Sure. Right. There's no meaning connected to that number necessarily. I mean, we often think there is, like, oh, if I get to this number, I'll be happy. But what is it about getting to that number that makes you happy? Right.
You know what? Yeah. And you know what it might be? It might be setting an example for your kids. It might be, well, I want to run a 5K. It might be,
Right.
I
Because
want to hike to Machu Picchu, like whatever. Those
Yeah.
are motivating, much more in-depth reasons, right?
Totally. Totally.
And that represents who you are as a person. You're a parent. I don't remember the other thing I said.
You're a runner.
You're an adventurer. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you're an outdoor, athlete.
Yeah, an adventurer.
Yes, yes, yes. Those are identities. I like it. That's very good. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, the number on the scale is probably the biggest one. That's what we chase. I mean, Nick and I have had people, put their scales away. For some people, it's so anxiety provoking that we just you got to get rid of that thing and just do the work just to do the work. You got to do the work for you, right? That's why alignment is important. It's because it's for you. It ties you to your identity, and it gives you a deeper connection to your work, right? And what you're doing. Because a lot of the time, to be healthy, right, we see the things that we need to do to be healthy as sacrifice, right? Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's never going to work.
But then when you go back to it, you feel guilty.
Yeah,
that's why it doesn't work.
Right. And that's the other thing.
And this goes in terms of kind of anything, right? When you're discovering who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to do with just weight loss, even though that's most of our examples.
You're right. That's true. Yeah. So, it's
right. So like going back to what you said earlier, those superficial motives that are not motivating, it goes back to what you and I do, right? Like, and I know like you're especially good at it. But we dig out as much information as we can, as much emotion behind it as we can when we talk to people, because
oh man, yeah,
we want to see more than just I want to see the numbers on the scale go down.
Right.
I know that when people talk to you, because I get feedback. I don't know if you ever know that, but I know when people talk to you, you've given them insight. You get them to understand the why they want to be so much healthier. And
the why is so important. Yeah. It's hard to appreciate it, I think, at the time. It can be painful to look at.
Yeah, it is. But that why, that's the discovery phase. That's what I keep telling people. Like, you got to just take some time and discover yourself to figure out. This is what it comes down to, is to figure out the why.
Yeah, definitely.
Why are you doing it? Why are you really doing it?
Yeah, exactly. And once you figure that out, once you figure out like, okay, so this is who you are, but this is where you are, right out here. And that's why, and then this is how you're feeling, right? That's what it is, right? That's what that alignment, being out of alignment, is super anxiety provoking, right? It is a painful place to be. And
I can tell you that from experience, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. God. Yeah. Yeah. And I think everyone's been there. And sometimes we're like a little bit like, I'm just not quite, there. And that's one thing. But sometimes we're just, we're way off from who we are and who we want to be. And it's hard. It's hard to live that way. And it is painful. And we talk about like choose your hard, right?
Definitely.
What's harder, doing the work to kind of get back there and be who you want to be, or to be someone that you're not, right? And that is,
yeah, I've used this lots of times. I'm stuck on this weight thing right now, but so what's harder, being overweight or being happy? They're both hard things. Choose which one is harder.
Yeah, being unhealthy.
What is going to make you, which path is going to take you farther?
Yeah. Well, what difficult brings you what you actually want? Do you want to be doing difficult things that bring you satisfaction, that bring you health and bring you longevity in your life? You know, some of the things that we need to do to have those things, they can be hard for sure, but they're not nearly as hard as living with a body that doesn't do what you need it to do.
Right. So, should we summarize a little bit?
We probably should, because you know, we've been talking for a while.
Honestly, this is really, really important information. So
yeah,
like,
I mean, we can go on for a long time about this, right?
Yeah.
And this has been more of an open-ended discussion for sure. So it's not like do this, do that. I mean,
so again, you know, but before we do dive into that summary, again, do you know who you are without rambling? Can you describe yourself in not necessarily one word or two words, but can you describe yourself in one or two lines, one or two sentences without rambling?
Okay. Or maybe you need to ramble. I don't know. Part of me says like, maybe you need to ramble and talk it out.
Sometimes, yeah. So that's part of the discovery phase, but eventually you got to be able to describe, you know,
yeah.
You got to be able to describe yourself quickly at some point.
Right. Totally. Yeah. And that's it. We should be able to describe ourselves that way. I see what you're getting at with that question. Me, I'm like the process, talk it out.
It is all about the process. Definitely about it.
But the end result should be knowing how to describe yourself, knowing a few things that describe you and what you are and who you are. So yeah, to summarize, you know, that's what alignment is in this case, having a body that represents who you are as a person, the things you need to do in your life, a body that aligns with your identity, your livelihood, right? So it's not even necessarily about how you look. I mean, it might be, and that's okay, but I believe again, when you pursue function and true health and what is best for your body, then the rest falls into place, right? How you look falls into place after that, because you're prioritizing what's best for your body, and your body will look like you do that.
And look, this is something that I say a lot, Brandon. I don't know if you actually even get to hear it, but I believe there's three parts to a person, to a being. There's the mind, the body, and the spirit. And that is truthfully what we do, is we bring all those pieces together, because if one of those pieces is suffering, the others will suffer as well. And if the other ones are flourishing, they'll bring the other one along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But if one is out of place, that's malalignment, right? That's being out of alignment. So why is it important? You know, because alignment is what truly gives us satisfaction. That's what makes us feel
that
whole.
fills your bucket.
Yeah. Fills your bucket. Thank you, Nick. I like Nick talks about mind, body, and soul, and I'm like biological, psychological, and social. You know, come at it from different angles, but really, it's ultimately the same stuff. Those things all need to be interlinked, and they need to be in alignment with each other. So, being out of alignment creates unrest for us. It makes us provokes anxiety.
Burnout,
among other things. Yeah, burnout. It's exhausting, right? The guilt, right? So it's really at the heart of what we do. It really is the center. It's like the core of what Nick and I do. I really can't stress that enough. Like, that's why we do this. We really believe that everyone deserves to have that.
Yes, 100%.
But it's not, people don't talk about it all that much. Fitness professionals especially don't give a shit about it. They don't talk about it.
Results driven only. Just drop weight.
Oh, yeah. Suffer. You need to be in a constant calorie deficit or whatever it is, and sure,
those are hate your body.
Those are tools. Yeah, your body sucks right now. Yeah, I mean, oh God. It's anyway base to work, and let's not get into that. So this community is exactly why we do what we do.
Yes, that is 100% true. This is more than I think either of us truly anticipated it being. So it's really
right.
It fills our bucket. This fills our bucket.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the positivity in here, I mean, it's just super uplifting. For me, I think I just wrote that in a comment yesterday or last night. Like, you guys really do inspire me that some of the comments to Nick's question the other day were just like, oh man, like this is so it for me.
Yeah.
Like you guys really are heroes for me.
Yeah, and you know what? Like that question's a tough one, and so there wasn't a whole lot of response on it, but I know it's because it created some thought provoking.
I was gonna say that exact thing.
Whatever. Yeah. So whatever. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's yeah. I mean, things that are hard to answer for sure. You know, we tend to like avoid them. It took me a little while to answer that question myself, and you might still be thinking about that. Like I have been. I keep coming back to it. I'm like, oh, maybe I should have thrown this word in there or that word in there. So yeah, and that's what it's about. It's about provoking thought. It's about discovery, like Nick says. And that's what we want for you. You know, this is definitely a journey. I'm rambling. Let's get out of here, man.
All right, everybody. So if you opened up now or you open up later, I'll make it a point to reach out to you because it's just what we do. I like to talk to people, so just deal with it.
Yeah, Nick definitely like spends all day saying hi to people, which is not all day, but it's no. But I appreciate that about you though, because I tend to do it like more inside the group, and Nick is like boom, like like personal connection right off the bat, and it's awesome. Like you're not gonna get that.
You don't
go to another group.
You're doing it again.
I know. Okay, we'll get out of here. We love you guys. We really care about you guys, and so yeah, we do want to connect and reach out and say hi and encourage you to do the same thing. So please don't hesitate to shoot us a message if you have questions or you feel like you need help. That's what we're here for, really.
Yeah. And keep your eyes peeled because I tend to reach out from time to time as well.
Yeah. And help each other out like you guys do. Like keep doing that. Like if you're new here and you have a suggestion or you have a recommendation for something,
or a question.
Yeah, please, especially with the questions. If you have questions, please.
Because if we don't know it, somebody else might.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we don't know it, we're gonna find out. I mean, that's the other thing, that's a big part of what we do as well. So, all right, we're out of here. I love you guys. I will see you in the group. I'm sorry if that was loud. and we'll see you in there. All right, guys. Bye.